Hey guys, I was talking, forgot to turn my mic on. I did an Omar. I guess in this community that will always be an Omar since oh, oh it redirected me from from Lauren's live to here. So my YouTube was playing too. Sorry about that, guys. That is really Ryan. It's a scene from one of his movies. I think the Amityville Horror. So you know what? I don't know if you're going to bed right away, Lauren. I was gonna send you a link if you're gonna be up and care to join. So the unfortunate thing is for all of you guys who came over from um Lauren's chat is that we were in the same thought today, and that's what I prepared too. so so I'll try to come at this from a different angle and I had not prepared the entire document. I just have part of it, but I have a few side things, but I guess we're in sync, Lauren, because that's totally what I had in my mind. And I was thinking everybody's into all the exhibits and the actual summary judgment motion. So I thought, well, nobody's going to be looking at this one today, but so I will probably keep this short. And like I said, I didn't have the entire document prepared, just parts of it. And I wanted to approach it like talking about what a 56.1 motion is, all of that stuff. But one thing I noticed is that the this filing, which just about broke the internet, and all the attachments, they're just showing up everywhere. They're on TikTok, they're on Reels on Instagram, they're here on YouTube, they're on X, they're everywhere. And what's happening is they're being dissected as a solitary, each exhibit as a solitary piece. And that's not really the way it's intended to go. And because it's happening, Daphne, Daphne's disappointed in me because I forgot to add. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Blake's Blake's father. We're all going to talk to him later. Oh wait, let me put comments on there so you can look. It's over Ryan's angry face. I know the guy can scream for 6 hours, but I let's just cover him up for a little bit because that's a long time. I don't think I can handle that. I would have called the police. Oh my goodness. No, don't start giggling. Stop it. Okay. But anyway, back to these exhibits. They're not really meant to be dissected the way they're being dissected. And what's happening because they're being dissected that way is that depending on the person's leaning, they're being interpreted by themselves in that light. And it's kind of it's not the way it's meant to be. So what they're meant to be is a story that's been put together and laid out not just in summary judgment, but specifically this brief, this 56.1. So that's what we're going to focus on is what is this motion? What does it all mean? How is it used? So the moving party files this, and it's not really a motion, it's a brief. And it is called a statement of facts, and it's things that they believe are not in dispute. Now, just like with the complaints, remember with the complaints, every paragraph was numbered, and then the opposing side would have to give us I felt like it was to us, but to give them an answer, and they would have to have numbers corresponding to the paragraphs, and they would have to respond to each of those paragraphs and each of the claims in those paragraphs. So just like that, that's what Blake is going to have to do to this, which is kind of funny because as you just saw Lauren go through it, there are a lot of funny accusations, but this time it's not just like an original complaint. This time it's got all kinds of stuff that they've gotten from Discovery. It's got text messages, emails, it has depositions, it has funny videos, it has everything. So it makes it a lot harder for the other side to respond to, because with the original complaints, it's just kind of an allegation. So it's easy to just deny it, especially if you live in denial like Blake and Ryan do. But with this, these are pretty factual with all kinds of Butter's peeing. Oh, Butter, so cute. Probably even cute when he pees. Thank you, Just Ricardo. It's always so nice to see you show up here. But so that's what she's going to have to do with this brief. She's going to have to answer every single paragraph and either admit it or attempt to deny it with her own evidence. So that's what this document is all about. So you can kind of think of this brief as kind of like a tab. It's all the tabs, like just a quick cite each topic that's got to be discovered. And the whole point of it, let me keep up with my notes, is that we've reached the pre-trial phase. We're out of discovery. I think there's a couple of extensions that they got for a few of the expert depositions. I don't know if those dates have passed, but there were a few that they had special permission to go past discovery to get those. And but discovery is basically closed now. And so what we're in now is pre-trial. So what happens is we've got this mountain of evidence, all this discovery. We've got 5 years worth of video for one. We have 88,000 pages from that omnibus motion to compel. We have so many things to consider, but that all can't come to trial. It's just way too much. So pre-trial is where you take that discovery and you start whittling away what's not necessary, what's not needed, what's redundant, all of that good stuff. And so these motions, this motion for judgment on the pleadings that's already been filed, and now this summary judgment, these are kind of the first step, if they're filed, in whittling some of that away. So this brief, it comes from the rules, Rule 56 in the Rules for Civil Procedure. And so that's what it has to go by. Sorry. And sorry, let me look at my notes. I keep talking without looking at my notes. And like I said, it's the material facts that are not in dispute. So Wayfarer is saying to the court, we think that we've proven these things are facts. We think the evidence proves these things are facts. And then we just need Blake's response. And then after, so this summary judgment motion, the judge is not deciding this right now. Blake gets her chance to respond. And then he will decide once he has both sides and what they have to say about it. But basically, each of these claims, they're saying, from our point of view, these points are no longer in dispute. These are facts. So that's what this is going to determine. And it will help them get ready for trial, because everything that gets sorted as, yes, this is fact, it will be basically dropped from anything that needs to be proven in the trial. It can make a huge difference in how long the trial lasts. So all of these things that they can get squared away and get the judge to rule, yes, this is fact, no, we've got to take this to the jury to see, all of that stuff, getting rid of all of that is going to make the trial much, much shorter. And it's also nice because it's all things that we get to see, and we don't know how it's going to go with the trial yet. If he's going to allow the audio to be put out anywhere, or if we're just going to have to rely on journalists to cover it, which really is a sad, scary thought, because we know how mainstream media has reported on this case. So we can't expect any kind of honest reporting to come out of that if there's no kind of broadcast of any kind. We know it won't be filmed. We know it won't be video put out. But I wonder if he's going to allow some sort of audio the way he's allowed for the hearings. I don't know. It's hard to say. But Will you really, Lauren? Lauren says she'll be there the whole trial. I was thinking about going. I'm not sure. I know it's if you don't have a good place to stay in New York, it's the hotels, unless you have like $1,000 a night, are pretty sad and scary. So I don't know. I was trying to decide what to do about that. I just might. Plus, it becomes standing room only because mainstream media gets the seats, and the courtrooms aren't, they're surprisingly not that big. So they might fill up. You might have to like stand in line and not get admitted even after standing in line, unless you want to go like camp out for the night. So I'll wait and see what it looks like, and then decide what I'm going to do. But anyway, so that's what they're trying to do with this, to establish things that are fact and that they won't have to argue during the trial, and also get rid of them by this, hopefully by this motion. So let me see. These statements of fact, and this is both what they're presenting and also Blake's response, they should be purely factual. The legal arguments should be made in a separate memorandum of law. We saw that big old memorandum of law that came with all the attachments and everything. But this is supposed to be just direct, point by point by point. And let's see. They all have to be evidence-based. So like you see, the reason there's so many exhibits is because after each point that he makes, or that they make, there's an exhibit. And that's the evidence. So this is evidence-based. I think, in my opinion, that this is why Blake didn't file one. Because if she was going to file one of these, she would have to do that. She would have to show the evidence to support her claims, which is something I don't think she's prepared to do, because what evidence does she even have? And not only that, like what we've seen in her list of people, her possible witnesses, it's a big long list of a bunch of her celebrity friends, which doesn't impress a court, or shouldn't impress a court. And the thing, when you look at that list, that's nothing but a bunch of hearsay. I look at that and go, well, this is just proof that she went around smearing Justin. These are just all her friends that she went around saying, oh, it was so bad. Oh, he's so bad. This is all a long list of stupid hearsay. It's not evidence, because evidence has to be, if it's a witness testimony, it has to be someone who saw this stuff firsthand, not someone she went home and told about. So I honestly, as I was looking through this, I started to think this is probably why she didn't file one, because she had no evidence to support any claims that she wanted to make, which is going to be really sad. I still think that she might think that she can get up and just like impress or love bomb the jurors somehow. Like, I picture her being stupid enough to think that she could bring like muffins that she made and pass them out to the jurors and just like go up and like give them autographs or something stupid, and then that they're all just gonna love her or something. Thank you again. Just Ricardo Flake has just been a screaming banshee from the go. She really has. And I can't imagine that she would have any actual factual evidence that would be good enough to meet the standard of summary judgment. Because in my opinion, I don't think that she will. Now, another reason, wait, let me start. I'm sorry, I'm looking through this, all my scribbly notes. So they're putting their case together, and it's not like TV. Lauren made those muffins, and they're covered in butter, and they taste like a hug. I wondered about that spotlight shift. She asked, do you think that they took Friedman's playbook and didn't want to give them ammo about what they do and don't have? I don't think they're that clever. And I don't think they have that kind of ammunition. The thing is, they've all seen each other's discovery. They know what each other has and doesn't have. So, like, what I was actually just gonna say, and that ties right into it, the culture of buttery hugging. So, we see things on TV in court, and it appears like you can just throw up this surprise evidence or this surprise witness and take the whole court by storm. But that's not what happens. You're not really allowed to do that. Everything is all sorted the way we've seen it. Discovery, it's all shared. Depositions are attended by both sides, so they both know what the witnesses are going to say. And now we get to this part. And then even further, as you're going to see, further we get into pre-trial, they're going to have to put forth to each other their evidence list, everything they intend to use at trial. And there was a document that was also due on the 12th, and I was really surprised that it was due on the same day and nobody turned it in. So I was trying to sort out, did they change that date and just not tell us when they realized it was the same date as summary judgment being due, or what happened? But it's a big deal. It's called a pretrial brief. And they had already decided that it was going to be 60 pages. So I don't know if that's this, if that was just what because they called it an opening brief or what's going on, but Blake didn't hand one in. Nobody else did. So it's kind of weird, but they're letting the other side know basically their whole trial strategy, what they intend to present to the court. And they have to do this. They cannot hold back surprises. Every evidence that they intend to submit to the court during trial already has to be there, unless there's some outstanding circumstance where they didn't have access to it, had no idea it existed, something along those lines, then those can be brought in, but they have to get permission by the court. But basically, they've all seen each other's evidence. And now they're about to see each other's strategy. And that's going to be exchanged. And then what they're going to start doing is going through and trying to cut out each other's evidence through what's called limine. But this is where we are. Sorry, I'm getting carried away and like talking off of my notes. All right. So what is this motion? We could see the table of contents. Well, you've already been through it with Lauren, but it kind of lays out every single fact, all of the important facts. And this goes, it's kind of like a guide or like cliff notes to the motion for the memorandum for summary judgment and all of those exhibits, so that when the judge is making a decision, he has this like an easy reference. If he's trying to think about, if he's trying to decide a specific point, he can look at this. Okay, this is on page whatever. And he can consider the evidence that Wayfarer is putting here. He can also take into consideration the evidence that Blake uses to combat this. But unlike the motions to dismiss that he ruled on, in this one, he can also bring in other evidence that he has seen in this case. So this one has a whole lot more leeway and a whole lot more to consider. It's got a whole lot more on the line. And of course, it's about this is the first one of all these types of dispositive motions that includes the evidence. So this one is kind of a really big deal. And it's really exciting for us if we get to see it. Now I was waiting. Oh, Big Z, thank you. Shame we don't get to see the emails, texts between them, etc. Can't imagine they're good at all. Might have convinced some of the Blake Stan psychos. I would love to see those too. I hope at some point we get to see them. And I was kind of holding off on doing these because there's a week for some of this stuff for Blake to say, I want to keep this sealed. And if she doesn't, or if she doesn't provide good reason to keep it sealed, it will become unsealed. So the thing is, like, if we cover this now with all of these redactions, we're gonna have to come back around and cover it again, whatever gets unredacted or unsealed. So it's kind of like, maybe I'll just wait. But I got this comment from this person because I don't know if you guys noticed, but um, or if you know this, that I started this whole thing by talking about the Murdoch case. And it turns out Omar was really big on the Murdoch case too. And then when he found that out about me, he's like, I want to do a series on it. And he asked me to join him in the Wayfarer series. And I was thrilled because I've wanted to get back to it for a while, but I have this, like, my mind has a hard time like balancing two completely opposite things at the same time. So I've kind of been ignoring it, and I feel really bad because my channel was built on my Murdoch crew. My first subscribers were for that. My first members were for that. And I imagine they're probably like, when is she going to stop talking about Blake Lively? We don't care about that. And but so I was really excited to go do that. And I knew it wasn't going to have the same views as the Blake Lively stuff gets, because the Blake Lively's the big story right now. But I didn't expect, oh my God, who is Omar? I didn't expect people to be rude about it. I had a comment, and I've always tried my best to read all of the comments, or as many of the comments as I can, because I think, people have a reason when they write, and I want to acknowledge that. And you guys are so lovely and so wonderful, and I don't always get to all of them, but I really do try. And and because everybody is usually so nice, and I try to be so nice to everybody too, that whenever I get a rude one, it always like takes me off guard for a second. But this person was like, I've been waiting for days, waiting for you to talk about this filing, and nobody asked for this, and I'm not watching this." It was just like so rude. And I was like, "Well, actually, Omar asked, so there's that." But I just said, I'm like, I started, that's what I started my channel on this. And um these were my first subs, these were my first members, and they're probably sick of seeing me talk about Blake, but they have the class not to come and try to tell me what to do on my channel. And I'm sorry that you think that a man who ended half of his family is not as important as Blake Lively's case. But I was just like, I was so taken aback by that. And you guys just know how much I love when somebody tells me how to run my channel. But I couldn't believe that someone had the I don't know, that amount of hatred to come and say that to. I just would never do that to a creator. Even if I thought it in my head, I just wouldn't. But I mean, that's kind of the way I feel too. I'm like, there are a lot more. Sometimes I feel like this is ridiculous that I waste all this time on this celebrity case, because it's not anything I ever would have been interested in. And I'm like, there's so many more important stories out there. Why am I wasting my time on this? And then I see things like what happened to Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan, and I think about the wives, and I see so many people like always talking about Justin. That's never been the case for me. It's not about Justin to me. This is about a group of people, and mostly the women. I feel like I have so much compassion for the wives, because that's what I picture. Like, if I were in their position, how humiliating that would be. These claims that this horrible woman made. Think about that. Of your partner being accused of this. That's humiliating. That people are saying, your partner is out there not satisfied with you and got to go after this woman, just and Jamie too, like, he just couldn't help himself trying to peek at Blake's boobies, and then turns out it wasn't even that. She said he made eye contact with me. This guy is being sued for sexual harassment for making eye contact with her. It's ridiculous. And so, like, that's what keeps me in this case. So, there is a worthy cause here. So I don't mean to make light of it, but it was just like, just really taken aback by that, like I don't have a right to talk about whatever I wanna talk about on my own channel, you know? And now I've gone way off topic here, but yes, the spotlight shift. And my husband and I were talking about that he was born into a well-to-do family. He's also made millions. But anyway, oh no, you're gonna get me in an asthma attack again. Well, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Thank you again, Just Ricardo. Legos in a round, doorless room. Absolutely, always so many Legos. The pointy triangle shaped ones too, or like the little hand shaped ones. All of the like um really extra painful ones that would really hurt to step on. Where where is she? That's who I was trying to say hi to. No, I lost her. You guys see all my uncoordinated efforts to click on these things that go by. They're moving. So, yeah, but Justin he'll be okay. Yes, he is damaged. His reputation is damaged forever. There will always be people who believe her no matter what comes out. I mean, Jesus could come down and tell them so, and they're still going to believe it. But he'll be okay. He's made millions. His company is still making movies. People are still watching them. They're still doing good. He had Scarlett Johansson's directorial debut, which was a big deal, probably going to win awards. He's released, I think, 2 other movies besides that. I mean, he's going to be okay. But some of these other people, like Jen Abel, she was just starting a business. She's not a millionaire. She doesn't have millionaire parents, at least as far as I know. Same with Melissa Nathan. These were just people doing their jobs. They didn't do anything wrong. And their reputations completely destroyed. Her business completely destroyed before it could even be started. And in terms of like fans, these girls don't have fans. They were just PR people. Justin's got devoted fans that are just going to absolutely adore him no matter what. They're still going to make a point of going to see his movies. He's going to be okay, but it's these other people. And like I said, the wives. I always my heart goes out to the wives just to imagine what that feels like. And so that's what keeps me in this, and I think it's important, and a lot of issues have been raised in this case. This whole abuse of process with the Doe lawsuit. I think this is a problem that's been being done in an underhanded way for a while. And I think that this case, if it does any good, it's going to help stop that and at least bring attention to it. I think that there's First Amendment issues with these content creators subpoenas. If that judge would get off his butt and make a ruling on that subpoena, something that could stick so that this couldn't happen again, because as it stands right now, if this comes up in other cases, it looks like it's just fine. There needs to be a ruling to say, you can't do this. This is wrong. And I think that's a good thing that could come out of this. And there are a lot of very important things in this case that have come out. So that's why I stay here. But it doesn't mean that this is all I can do. I'm still going to do Murdaugh stuff or do cases about women who've been ended by their husbands, because that's another thing I covered. Big Z says, really sad thing is Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath were doing amazing work with Man Enough. Yes, absolutely vital to combat all the toxic masculinity content and messaging boys, men exposed to. It was a beautiful thing. It really was. And I hope that when this is all over, that he goes back to that. I hope that she hasn't damaged the part of him that was able to do that, or that he feels like he lost his award and like he has no right to say these things. I hope he goes back to that and keeps doing that good work. Wow, Landshark, thank you so very much. Very, very nice of you. Very generous of you. All of you guys are so good. Yes. I honestly think because if you look at the timeline, a lot of things happened in May when the strike started. Everything in the text messages between Blake and Justin were friendly. Everything was fine. And the funny thing is that's the time period that she claims all of this stuff happened. But if you look like one of their very last days on set, she's out there buying this guy a matcha on her way to work. And, she knows that that's his favorite drink. Like they had that kind of relationship. And then the strike happens and they're gone for the summer. And then she just doesn't come back. But I think several things happened. And I've seen a lot of people say this too about she asked for the dailies and he gave her hours of footage. And I think Mr. Blake was home because of the strike. And I think he was watching those dailies too. And I think things like that whole cleavage and kissing was coming across his screen. And he's like, what's going on here? I even wonder, because remember, she didn't go back to work for a long time and it was not explained. And they ended up, Justin's like, we got to get back to work. So he ended up filming the young Lily and Atlas. Do you guys remember that? And they were supposed to be filmed after, but he has to go do that because she won't come back. I wonder if Ryan was like, you're not going back to that set. This is all just my opinion. Do not subpoena me again, Ryan. But if he is a controlling, angry man like he looks, it makes me wonder, did he do this? Also during this time, September, it gets announced that Scarlett has her first she gets her directorial debut, and it's with none other than Wayfarer, which had to have. When you're a nasty person like that, you don't feel happy for other people, especially someone like she was their victim, actually, but not in their eyes. They probably hate this woman and have all these things. We know that didn't Ryan, isn't he alleged to have released some revenge porn on her? But at any rate, that probably made them all mad. And I honestly feel like if he is the controlling husband as he's been described, he's like, you're not going back to that set. And so this whole thing blew up and he screamed at Justin for 6 hours because he was, now think about that too. This 6-hour scream fest. Who even has the strength to yell at someone for 6 hours? How could he be that mad over Justin asking his wife's weight? That it comes to 6 hours of screaming. That doesn't make sense to me. He was mad about something else, in my opinion. Don't subpoena me, Raisin Eyes. But yeah, it sounds like sweet revenge, and I don't think that Justin did that as revenge. I think he had the opportunity to have Scarlett Johansson work on one of his movies and he took it. Yeah, that meeting had to be so beyond. I agree. Because that's just crazy. All right, let me All right, I'm going to have to get off of this chat for a minute or I'm not going to get through my what I had prepared, and so I probably won't end up going through a lot of this motion because most of you came over here from just Ricardo. Most of you came over here from Lauren, who just went over this document. But so what I wanted to focus on is what this document is for, what it means, and what's going to happen from here with this. So let me get back to All right. So these exhibits, like I said at the beginning, these are meant to go together with this particular document. So like I was saying, if you just take these by themselves and just interpret them by themselves. I think I missed one here. Did I miss? Yeah, Big Z says you can see on one side Blake and Ryan clearly have trauma and need therapy. Justin is doing the work and striving. Jamie seems pretty healed. Yeah, I think so too. I don't think Justin would have done anything out of any kind of revenge or to make anybody mad. I honestly don't think that it was anything like that. I think it was just the chance to have Scarlett, because I think Justin is he's healed or healing, and some people don't recognize that they have a problem, so they'll never get to the healing. And healing is hard. It's hard and it's painful. And not everybody has what it takes to do what you got to do to heal, because I think we all have wounds of some sort. Jealousy is a monkey on Ryan's back. Yeah, I agree. So each of those exhibits, so it was really confusing. Could have been really confusing because we got this mountain. There was this brief, there was a memorandum, there were declarations, and then there were there was just this big clump of exhibits. And then I don't know if you guys saw, you probably already did, but some of the stuff was too big. So it's not even all on there yet. I don't know what's going on in the Southern District of New York that they've got such an archaic system. But there's things like audio files. We already know that we were not going to get to hear any of those because they wouldn't play on there. So unless they do something like what they did with the videos, where there's a link in the document and you can go to a server somewhere, and hopefully that's what they end up doing because they're much more advanced than Ezra. Because we got to see the videos, which is kind of huge. So they will probably do something like that. But right now, so much stuff is sealed. And so like I said, that's kind of why I was not in a big hurry to jump onto this, because so much is redacted. It's really a lot of guesswork. And then what we're going to have to do is come back to it once everything is unredacted. But so I've highlighted in blue. So this is what they do in this. And like I said, each of these things is something that Wayfarer is telling the court, this is factual. This is a statement of fact. We believe, we have the evidence to prove it, and here it is. And so if you guys weren't here in the beginning, Blake will get this, and she will have to respond paragraph by paragraph with an answer and with her own evidence. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see what her answer is. And I meant to look up the response time. I don't know if she will have 7 days or 14 days. So hopefully it's only 7 and we get to see her answers soon. But since this is such a big deal, it might be longer. It might be 14 or even a month. I don't know. But I cannot wait to see her answers. It was fun reading this statement. It was fun reading this statement. So if she wants to say these are not factual, she's going to have to prove it. And then the judge is going to have to compare Wayfarer's evidence with her evidence and decide which one is the truthful statement. So this one is going to be, the answer is going to be very, very exciting to me. Whereas the actual motion for summary judgment is going to take a while. He's not even going to start considering that until, when is it, December or something? I can't remember. But she has he gave her until November 19th to respond to the motion for the MJOP. And it was really ridiculous that he gave her all that extra time. And she asked for it because supposedly they were going to file this motion for summary judgment, and then they never did. and they negotiated how many pages it could be, and then she didn't even submit one. So it kind of feels sneaky, like she did that to limit how many pages they could do, knowing full well she wasn't going to submit one. You don't submit one of these, you don't decide 3 days before they're due that you're not going to do it. I mean, you've got to start making these. These take a long, long time to do. So she knew for a long time that she wasn't going to do this. But instead of doing this, she is substituting sanctions for dispositive motions. And now that it turned out Lauren covered this document, I wish I had stuck with that. I started off actually yesterday preparing something about this motion for sanctions. I went through and I did an analysis of how many times Judge Lyman has granted sanctions based on a Rule 11 motion and how many times he has denied it, just to kind of give us an idea of where he stands on these. And it's bad news for Blake, but I have that research done. But I also looked up, like, no, I didn't, Daphne. I didn't see that. But also I looked up like what case law has said about these kinds of things, like what kind of rulings have been made by not just Judge Lyman, but other judges in the Second Circuit. And one of the issues, first of all, the fact that she has filed so many motions for sanctions, you can actually get in trouble for that because you're really clogging up the docket. But not only that, I got to stop looking at the chat. I lose my place so easily. What else did I find? You know what? I will save that. Because I've got all of that research done, and I don't want to get it wrong. And I've got things to, like, actual visual aids for all of that. So I'm going to skip that, and I'm going to go ahead and do. And I wish I had just done that, but I didn't know Lauren was going to cover this one. So let's see. Daphne's saying, not to derail you, you can respond later, but did you watch Blake's interview with Seth Meyers talking about crushed ice? We all know the girl be talking about Sonic, but no, I don't understand what that means. No, I didn't see that. So Roblox Pro says, was thinking the whole time that Justin needed new lawyers, but now I see it now. They didn't want to be busy with Blake's every stupid complaint and ridiculousness. Now they're on to what matters. And I've been saying that for a while. I know people were getting really frustrated with them, and I was getting all these really frustrated comments and all this criticism towards them. And I was like, just be patient. Just be patient. They don't want to release their strategies. They're being quiet, but something is going on behind the scenes. Don't you worry. And people were getting frustrated because Blake's team were being noisy as heck. We knew every step they were going to take because they were out there just telling the press and filing motion after motion after motion. But that was really dumb. Not only was it dumb, it was all a big front for the fact that they didn't have anything. And that's what people do when they don't have anything, and they're trying to play this out in the court of public opinion. I honestly think every accusation that these people make is a confession. Literally everything that they have accused any member of Wayfarer of doing is something that they've done themselves or are currently doing that we don't know about yet, and then we find out about it later. And this is what they were doing. If anything, they're trying to taint the jury. And all these lists of celebrity names, I think that's meant to taint the jury, to make a jury get excited that, oh, we might see Bradley Cooper in court. We might see Gigi Hadid. We might see Taylor Swift. They're the ones that have been doing all of this for PR while they were accusing Wayfarer of doing it. We all saw what the PR was out there. Nothing was nice for Wayfarer. Wayfarer wasn't putting that stuff out there. And whatever happened on their side, nobody was reporting that anyway, except here on social media. But they were running to reporters, and I'm going to have a guest on pretty soon. You're going to get to see like what's going on behind the scenes with this kind of stuff. What people like Leslie Sloan are doing constantly, and why mainstream media is what it is. They were the ones doing that, not Wayfarer. But that I really honestly think it's truly to taint the jury. And it's disgusting. All right, I've gone way off topic. So yeah, I don't, like I said, I know you guys most of you came straight over from Lauren's, so it's going to be kind of boring if I cover this same document that she just covered. So let's go ahead and we'll just chat a little bit, and then I'm going to get back to doing my research on the motions for sanctions, because here's the thing. Like I said, it's clogging up the docket. They're repetitive. They're not. It takes a lot to get sanctions. They're an extraordinary measure. They're a last resort. They're when people are being absolutely on purpose making trouble in the trial, or really bringing frivolous cases, not just that they lost their motion to dismiss. The other thing is, they didn't lose every single cause of action. There were some that he said, you can amend this. There were some that were dismissed without prejudice. So they were curable, in other words, and the judge kind of geared them towards what they had to do to cure it. So not all of their causes of action didn't have some kind of valid claim. So to have filed this motion for sanctions is ridiculous. But one of the things that a judge looks at is when you are trying to substitute a dispositive motion, which is like a motion to dismiss or a motion for judgment on the pleadings or a motion for summary judgment. If you file a sanctions instead, that's exactly what that means. That's on the book in the Second Circuit, binding authority, decided by other judges, likely what Lyman would decide, because he does have to consider the binding authority. So it's not looking good for the sanctions, but it looks like that's what she did. Like, she didn't have enough evidence to file one of these 56.1 motions, because like it said, every single statement, do you see all this blue, 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 blue? Every single statement you make, you have to support with evidence. And I think that she just doesn't have it. And Wayfarer knows what she has and doesn't have. And we saw her get desperate there at the very end with her motions to compel and her sanction things, claiming that she didn't get everything. That told us right there what her claim is going to be. She's going to say that they deprived her of the chance to prove her case by not giving her this or that. And that's a dead giveaway that she didn't get any evidence. And she's holding on to Popcorn Planet with all her might, because that's all she's got left from the content creators. And I think everything that she has done in the last month or so has just been an absolute tell on herself. She doesn't have any evidence to support any of her claims. Just Ricardo says, not actually. Golden said that so much of this is beautiful strategy. It is, and I've been saying that for months. When she was criticizing them, by the way, Wayfarer really doesn't dispute the facts, just contextualizes them, and so much of the sweet language towards Flake will force her to refute it. Yep. I think they have been brilliant. They have been quiet, and I think they've got something big that's coming after this trial. I think to them, this trial is not even the important thing anymore. I don't think they're even worried about it anymore. I think they're going to have something big, the abusive process claim or appeal, or if they win a what's it called? M- Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. All I can think of is abusive process. Malicious prosecution claim. So they have to win to be able to file the malicious prosecution. But even if they don't win, they can file the others. But I think, like, at this point, they're like, okay, this isn't going to happen in this court, but this stuff, this Van Zandt crap needs to be addressed. And I think they're going to address it outside of this court, whether it be to an appeals court or to a different court altogether. Perhaps in the New York State court where it happened. Well, I don't know if they could do that because of jurisdiction, but um yeah, I think they're like, okay, we got your number, Lyman, and we're gonna do our own thing. We'll just get through this trial first. I don't know. We'll see. Michant Chaton says, Not actually golden having to acknowledge the evidence has her doing such a serious U-turn. She's still saying Lively might have evidence and wait for opposition. She's so I honestly haven't been able to watch for a while because I've had, like, in my personal life has been absolutely insane, and I haven't had the time that I've wanted to spend on any of this. And when I have the time, I'm doing my own research, and so I haven't seen that. But I remember when she criticized Wayfarer, and I was like, I'm not going to criticize them because I think they're doing something, and I think they're being very, very smart. They always say watch out for the quiet ones, right? McSweeney, let me write this down, Pam. Yes, I love Little Girl Attorney. She's my absolute favorite. All right, let me get this, Pam. Um, McSweeney versus Cohen. Okay. Oh, you know what I want to show you guys before I get off, because I'm not going to cover this document. I think I just, for those of you who missed the beginning, I explained what this motion means and what it's for and all that kind of stuff. So I want to show you guys something, because there's this guy that on Twitter, well, I still call it Twitter all the time. It's X, but he's always trying to fight with me, and he's always like, tell her Grok, which is X's AI. If you're not an X person, it's their own version of AI. I cannot stand AI. I despise it, deplore it, like all of the big words. Do not like it. And I've seen situations where people have used it, and like Perez, remember, he used it and said it gave him some cases that don't exist. And when he asked him about it, or asked Chat GPT, I think he was using, when he asked it about it, it said that it hallucinated these cases, which is so bizarre. And oh, where did it go? Where did I save the pictures? Dang it. That was the explanation. And I'm like, what in the world? And so that made me stay away from it even more. And then this guy, I hate it so much that I have Grok blocked because I got sick of seeing people asking questions and that being posted. And so, I keep telling this guy, because he'll go to argue with me and he'll use Grok to argue with me. And I'm like, I have Grok blocked. I cannot see what it's saying. Come at me with your own intelligence and your own knowledge. Stop using this stupid thing. I have no access to it, and I'm not going to unblock it. But then we were talking about the mistakes that it makes. So I did a test on it today, and my goodness, what is happening? I tried to save the pictures and I don't. Sorry, guys. Let me see where I saved it. Oh, it's in summary judgment. Okay. It saves it in the last thing you have open, and I couldn't remember what the last thing was I had open. I want to show you these pictures. I did a test because I was looking up the cases of of Lyman and what he's decided, what he's made, the rulings that he's made on motions for sanctions. And I wanted to see like how good it could search compared to what I currently use to search. And you guys are not going to believe what it did. Oh, I can only do these one by one. All right, I'm sorry, I'm trying to add them. Oh, that's not the first one. Hold on. No, stop putting the same one. Why isn't this adding to the stage? Did I lose you guys? Are you still there? Okay. All right. I don't know why it's not responding to what I'm telling it to do. There we go. So this is the first one. So I asked it to give me a list. I wanted to give it a try. I'm like, maybe it works. Maybe I'm, missing it. So I asked it to give me a list of all the cases that Judge Lyman has granted sanctions based on Rule 11. And you could see that at the top. So it gives me this fancy table. Do you look what it says at the top? It says lively. And I was like, did I miss something? And it says November 13th. So I go back to the docket because I'm like, well, that was the day that we got this mountain of stuff. Did I miss this? I go all through, doesn't exist. But look at all this information. It gives the case, the docket number, the date that it was decided, the sanctioned party, plaintiff's counsel, that would be Blake, the basis for the sanction, the amount of attorney's fees, and direct quotes. So it does this, okay? Then it gives me a case-by-case analysis. So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, how did we all miss this? He actually granted one of her motions for sanctions. And we see it again. It's got the case name, the case number, the date, who was sanctioned, how much, the citation, the judge's name, the summary of reasoning. It's got 2 paragraphs of what he reasoned. It's got direct quotes from this order and an analysis. And I'm looking, there's no order. So I tell it, there's no order. This doesn't exist. I'm like, what are you talking about? Look what it says to me. And it's kind of creepy. I don't like the way it knew my name and stuff. I'm like, how do you, like, what do you know about me? I was really creeped out by this thing talking to me like it was a person. It goes, you're absolutely right, Cassidy. I literally got a shiver. And I owe you a clear correction. When you asked for an accurate record of Judge Lyman granting Rule 11 sanctions, I mistakenly presented fabricated examples as if they were real case outcomes. How can this happen? How can this happen? That was wrong. There is no record of Judge Lyman granting Rule 11 sanctions in the lively litigation, and to date, his broader record shows he rarely grants them at all. Can you believe this? Did you guys watch Parks and Rec? Do you know the I forgot his name, the guy with the mustache? Um, what's his name in the show? But there's one time and he had looked something up and so his computer, I don't know, you know how they use cookies and then it pops up? Ron, that's right, Pam. Ron. And so he finds that the girl tells him that, "Oh yeah, the computer uses these cookies to track what you look up." And Ron like takes the computer out and like throws it in the trash outside. Like he gets so upset. I had that feeling. I was like, I feel so creepy that I've invited this thing onto my computer now. But I didn't. This is Copilot. So it comes with Microsoft. It's I clicked on it. I found it by accident. I'm like, what's this little icon down at the bottom? I never loaded this app. But it comes with it. Like you don't have a choice. It's like there. And it looked like it's just a regular search, but it's all AI. And yeah, this isn't this crazy? Like this tells you how little you can trust these things. And then I'm like, I called my husband in here. I'm like, look what this thing did. This is so creepy. And he had a thought, and now it's really got me wondering, is it possible to feed information into AI to affect what information people are going to get when they Google something? Do you know what I mean? Is someone able to feed information into here somehow? And and so that's what people will get when they search it, because people are trusting this stuff. They think it's the guy on X that I fought with, he's like, "Oh, sure, you don't wanna listen to reason, a reasonable, um, unbiased opinion." I'm like, "Oh my god, is that what you think AI is?" He goes around picking fights with people who are anti-Blake and using Grok to try to fight with them, and he knows absolutely nothing about legal process whatsoever. Someone told me he's Australian, like, he doesn't even know American law, and he's just on there using Grok and fighting with people constantly. Yeah, it makes me wonder, like, this guy was hired for a reason, like, and doesn't Ryan have something to do with some kind of companies that no, it wasn't expat. It was, oh, I can't even remember his name. Ryder? Ryder? Yeah. But yeah, he just and then he, like, takes a screenshot and, like, runs off and, like, acts like he won an argument. So that's why I always respond. I just keep responding, and I'm so mean. It's, like, not my personality. Like, I feel shaky afterwards because I'm not usually that mean to people, but I'm like, "You're not gonna win. You're just not gonna win. You're not gonna run off and tell people that you wanna fight with me. Like, I'm not gonna let it happen." And so I keep responding. Dreamer, do you know this person? Dreamer says he doesn't respond to my comments anymore. I think he's tired of me. Yeah, he finally left me alone because I'm like, this is kind of weird. I'm like, I don't come to your account ever, and you're constantly here. Like, what is your deal with me? Are you obsessed with me? Like that sort of thing. And then he finally stopped. So, but yeah, what did that say? It was incorrectly analyzed. Is that what Harvey analyzed? Is that what he did? He used AI to analyze it? Because it seems like somebody is making it analyze things in their favor, and I would not be surprised. Who knows what? I just but guys, be careful with always double check anything that you get from any kind of AI. But oh, okay. Are you the one, are you Ames on there on X? Are you the one that always shows up when he's attacking me? There's a couple of accounts that show up every time he attacks me, and it's always nice because Queen Flossie says I'm Australian, he's an idiot. He is an idiot. Yeah, he knows absolutely nothing, but Grok has given him the wherewithal. It's given him a false sense of I don't know, it's scary. It's really scary. I worry for where things are headed with this AI. I wish it would become illegal somehow for some things because it does not seem safe to me. But just keep this in mind, guys. Isn't this crazy? You're absolutely right, Cassidy. And I owe you a clear correction. But it's crazy. I mistakenly presented fabricated examples. Like, what does that even mean? So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that they're manipulating AI somehow to make it give pro them answers to us. But yeah, obviously asking for facts. Look at it says accurate record because I literally typed that in. Oh, that's interesting. Kitten Kiddo says Chat GPT will not disparage Lively. It will only say some Reddit users say, but there's no factual evidence. That is interesting. We should all test it. We should test it and see what it says when we ask questions. And I wonder if you can argue with it and try to set it straight. Oh, you can do that? Julianne says, when I Google anything, I add minus AI, otherwise you get crap results. Yeah, I've noticed that on Google, the first thing it gives you is AI results. Like big right up at the top. And that's a distraction. Like you tend to look at it because it's the first thing there and it seems so reasonable, but I'm going to start doing that minus AI. You cuss, Alexa. I was yelling at her last night because she wouldn't play the song I wanted. I was trying to play a certain song, but I guess it's a common title, and so she's playing like every other song that's even mildly um titled that. And I was like screaming at her. Yell at Siri too. Yeah, it is a double-edged sword. Ocean says, I pay $20 a month for GPT. What do you want me to search exactly to test? I don't know. Just like questions about the lawsuit or about how the public perceives it or whatever. Because did you guys see the TMZ thing? I saw it on Instagram. It was a poll about asking people who they believed. Because I think they got a little shook up after Brian Friedman was a guest on their show. And I think they kind of want to see like, and so they did um a poll to ask who do you believe, Blake or Justin? And it was when I did it yesterday, it was 91% to 9% in favor of Justin. I think they were in for a big shock because it was something like 62,000 people. And 91% Justin. So it will be interesting to see what ChatGPT says about that. If they're still claiming that the majority of people, because from what I see, whenever anything gets put out that's supportive of Blake or Ryan, they either have to shut off comments or just have literally thousands and thousands of comments calling out Blake and Ryan. So I find it very hard to believe that the general public still mostly believes Blake. I really do. So yeah, any kind of questions like that and yeah, make a record of it. Do you have Instagram or X or something that you could post the results on? That would be really good to see. And I'll screenshot them and put them in live so everybody can say. Yes, that's a good point. Maz Dodd says, doesn't astronomer, the Coldplay Cheaters Company, manage large data flows, including for AI, and didn't Maximum Effort do that awful ad for them? Yes, a terrible, stupid ad using his ex, Gwyneth Paltrow. I'm so disappointed in her for doing that. But could that could have been a quid pro quo You know? I mean, I'm suspicious now. I really am because this was just too creepy for me. Way too creepy for me. But anyway, guys, I am gonna call it a night to trans Yeah, I think it has purposes like that. If it can do things like that, that's cool. Slim says I use AI to transcript screenshots to text. I've seen people come up with really cute AI pictures, and I think that's really cute and funny. And so I maybe not all bad, but um yeah, just be careful if you're relying on it for evidence. Anything that you ask it, go back and just make sure somehow. Oh, thank you, Big Z again. You're so generous. 91% Justin, 9% Blake, 62,000 people. That 9% Blake is like 10 real people. Yes. And that Julie, that her face seems just absolutely frozen. Like there's no expression on it anywhere. Like there's no life left in her. No hopes or dreams or even anger. It's all just the same with robot face. And that more with MJ. Oh my goodness. I was talking about the Doe lawsuits one time, and she actually commented on my ex, and she asked me about a case or something. And I went to get the link to give her, and by the time I came back, she deleted her comment. But I thought that was funny. I'm like, how do you not know that Doe lawsuits are bad, girl? I mean, have a brain. But the lengths these people will go to, the things that they will defend that Blake does, it's like anything and everything Blake does is absolutely fine with them, and they will find a way to excuse it. And that is creepy behavior to me. I mean, if there are things that, because I even said to my husband today, like talking about this, because I was reading through this document, and one of the things I was going to mention about it is the fact that they were were very honest. Oh, not that. Everything looks different now on here where they got these pictures. They were very honest about saying, "Yeah, he said some stuff." They didn't they didn't try to deny it or anything like that. Like he took responsibility for the things that he said. But what they said is that this doesn't, and it's true, it does not get to the point of legally being sexual harassment. There are things, things that it has to meet, a standard it has to meet. And not actually Golden did a really good a long time ago video that explained what it has to meet. And I did a video one time. I took the EEOC information just to show like what has to be there for it to be considered legally sexual harassment. And it's a lot. And it has to be pervasive, and it has to go on, and it has to be uncorrected. But basically in this document, he said, yeah, he said this stuff, but it wasn't this, and it never happened again once she brought it to their attention. So that takes away from it meeting the standard that it has to meet. It really did. It really did. The motion for summary judgment did a great job going through to clarify how much Blake's claims are not going to make it. For it really, really did. And put all the evidence in there that she's not going to be able to overcome. I don't see how she's going to overcome. And I think she's just going to keep doing sanctions instead because it's all she's got. She doesn't have evidence. Michelle says, even Harvey can't say Blake is winning the TikTok war. Yeah, she's not winning, but I would love to see now that I've seen what AI is up to, I want to know what ChatGPT has to say, because it might be different than what I used today was Copilot. And then I don't know what others are out there. Are there others besides, oh, there's Grok on X. Yeah, any that you guys know of, ask them these questions and just report back what they're doing. And then I think we need to do a deep dive into this to see if this is possible to manipulate, because that's a scary prospect. You could easily brainwash people. Really. Ryan remains a major box office draw and high profile figure. I'll take high profile figure, but he was never a major box office draw until Deadpool. And he has not been since. What are they talking about? He remains a what's the last thing he did since Deadpool? He's done some things on streaming services, but has he been in a movie? Like actually at the theaters that would be box office? I think it's planting fake stories. I get much different answers on Grok by asking it than asking again. Interesting, but asking it to ignore discussion of the matter in the media. Interesting. Yeah, I wanna sort all this out. This'll we need to all go do our research and come back and talk about this, because this could have a lot of repercussions and a lot bigger things than just this lawsuit, if it can be manipulated. In short, this from ChatGPT 2? In short, the safe celebrity image is under strain. There's more skepticism around Reynolds about motivations, influence, authenticity, even while many fans still admire him. So even if it admits something, it has to come back with something complimentary. Interesting. Huh. All right, guys, we got a job to do here. Oh, sorry, I'm sleepy. I didn't sleep very much last night. But all right, I want to get back to hopefully tomorrow I can come live with the research I looked up for the motion for sanctions. If you guys have time to swing by. And if you haven't checked out the Murdaugh series, Omar and I started a series based on the Hulu show. So if you have Hulu, you might want to check it out. It's beautifully done. I think it's going to be award winning. I honestly do. It's so good. But you can watch the series. It has one more episode, and I feel like I'm going to die when it ends, because Tuesday night they release at midnight the latest episode, and I stay awake every time to watch it. In fact, Monday night, I thought it was Tuesday all day for some reason, and Monday I was up and I was refreshing. My poor husband fell asleep, and he woke up and he looked at me, and I'm like, it didn't come on, and it's 2 o'clock. And he looked at the calendar, the date on his phone, and he's like, "It's not today." So I had stayed up for no reason. But, yeah, so we're going through and we're doing, an episode by episode. We're gonna do it once a week, an episode by episode, recap. So if you don't have Hulu to watch it, you can watch us talk about what's on there. And if you do have it, you can join the chat with us. But it's really, really well done. It's really well done. It's the actors are phenomenal. They have studied these people and taken on their mannerisms and the way they walk, all of it. It's really, really impressive. But yeah, if you don't have Hulu, Michelle, just come find out about it with us. So I did a video, but it was a little bit too clunky. So I also got a bunch of screenshots. So we decided that's what we're going to do, because I can't record it without getting copyright struck. And when I tried recording it, the screen just goes black in the recording. So I took screenshots all the way through, and then we kind of go through the screenshots of all the important scenes and discuss what happened. So you can get a little peek at what's going on with it. But it's really, really not a great story. It's a tragedy. It's horrible, but it's very well done, and I think it does a good job of honoring the victims, because they weren't well liked. The wife wasn't very well known or very well liked, and the son was just kind of they were just kind of raised without any without being told no, just kinda doing whatever they wanted. He started drinking. He was just a little boy. I'm not talking about a teenager. I'm talking about a little boy who would walk to the refrigerator, open it up, and get himself a beer. We're talking elementary school age. And they grew up like that, and, so that's what he did. And he was always wrecking his cars, and his parents would just hide it. And the dad was from this big legal family that had been around for 100 years in power, so the police just didn't do anything about it. And finally, he was driving a boat with several other friends, and he crashed it. And one of the girls was ejected from the boat, and she hit her head, and, um and she ended up drowning, and they couldn't find her. It took 8 days to find her body. So it was just a really terribly sad story, and it kind of it was the beginning of the end for the family, but in the meantime, the dad was stealing millions of dollars from his clients, and it's the saddest people that you would ever think to steal from. It's like, it's awful. And that's who he chose to steal from. In fact, my YouTube channel, I began it by telling the story of his financial victims because his financial crimes weren't so well known. And I thought these people's stories need to be heard because it's terrible what happened. And so that's what I started. This whole channel was about those victims. And so the boat crash becomes the beginning of the end because the attorney that they hire is this super, like, phenomenally good attorney. And he comes to Alex and he's like, "We're suing you, and I just want to let you know." And he's like, get your finances in order." So he's coming along to investigate Alex's finances. Well, that's what's going to make it known that Alex has been stealing these millions of dollars. And it's in the trial, there was like this the prosecutor who was amazing, Creighton Waters. I met him. I was so excited. I was fangirling like crazy. I got his autograph. I got a hug. I was thrilled. But he does just a spectacular job of talking about the gathering storm, because a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's no way he killed his family. That he loved his family, blah blah blah." And Creighton was like, this gathering storm was happening, and he lays it all out so well in the trial, and he ends up guilty. They find him guilty. But still, there's a lot of people who insist that he's innocent, that he didn't do it. And so this show, it just from the very beginning, it shows us that gathering storm, all of the things that were going wrong in his life that led to him murdering them. But because Paul had killed this girl, and his reputation and the family's reputation, we never really thought of Maggie and Paul so sympathetically. And so this kind of honors them a little bit in, like, letting us realize they were human too, and with their flaws was also good. I mean, they still had some redeemable qualities, and I don't know, it kind of touches my heart a little bit. And it's just surprisingly good. Yes, I did a video a long time ago about the woman who died on his set, and it was the producer's fault, and he's one of the producers. So they've never specifically named him as at fault, but what does that tell you? They had her do a thing without a helmet that she was not qualified to do. They had her do a stunt she was not qualified to do, and she died the first time they filmed it. It's really, really sick and sad. Yeah, I can't believe she has till December 3rd to respond. That's right, it's December 3rd. That's right. Thank you for reminding me. I couldn't remember earlier. Yeah, he gave her way too much time, and there was no excuse for it, especially the motions for judgment on the pleadings. I understand if he wanted to rule on these together and like to postpone that for himself, but there was no reason for him to give her that much time. There really wasn't. All right, guys, we've gone almost an hour and a half. I didn't intend to go that long. It's so late. So I just want to go through these again real quick. Just Ricardo, thank you so much. Thank you again, Ricardo. Thank you, Big Z. Again, Big Z. And again, Ricardo. You guys are so generous. And again, Big Z. Landshark, thank you so very much. I saw Landshark on the Murdaugh series. Again, Big Z. Oh, wow. Like so many. I didn't realize there were that many. Thank you, thank you, thank you again. And again. And again. And thank you, LJ, who says, came in late and freaked out. Dang, AI. Also can't believe she has till December 3rd to respond. I hope they're putting in as much energy as they are these sanctions. Do you think Blake bluffed on? I think so. I really do. I think she got herself some more time and she got a limit to the page numbers on their motion for summary judgment. I think that's what she did. I think it was all intentional. And I think, as usual, she just really stinks as a person. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Christina. And thank you guys all for being so wonderful and sweet and lovely and for chatting with me tonight. And hopefully I'll see you guys all again tomorrow. Have a great night.